Welcome to the Global Focus Review. Methuselah, a biblical figure, lived for a total of 969 years before passing away after fathering Seth. Adam, another prominent figure, lived for 800 years and had additional sons and daughters. Post-flood, Noah lived for an additional 350 years. Considering the rarity of encountering individuals over 100 years old in contemporary times, it prompts the question of how these biblical figures, such as Methuselah and Adam, achieved such extraordinary lifespans. In a world where life expectancy is typically measured in decades, it becomes intriguing to explore the reasons behind their centuries-long existence. Many associate the biblical accounts as the sole source addressing the longevity of ancient people who lived for centuries. However, the reality is that various ancient civilizations, documented in inscriptions and ancient texts, also depict ancestors enjoying centenarian lives. This video aims to delve deep into the captivating mystery of why individuals in the ancient Middle East, Africa, and other regions experienced remarkable longevity. Your support through likes, subscriptions, and engagement with the channel is greatly appreciated as we explore this intriguing content. The enigma surrounding individuals who dwelled for countless centuries persists because their remarkably extended lifespans, as chronicled in the book of Genesis chapters 4 and 5, present astonishing ages for biblical figures. In contemporary terms, the idea of people routinely living 200, 300, 500, 700, and even 960 years might appear implausible. Yet, this was the norm in the pre-flood world, a reality that may appear extraordinary to many today. A notable exemplar of this longevity in biblical accounts is Methuselah, mentioned in the book of Genesis. According to the narrative, Methuselah lived an extraordinary 969 years, making him the oldest man recorded in the Bible. His protracted life often symbolizes patience and perseverance, though the precise reasons for his longevity are open to diverse interpretations. Adam, the first man, is said to have lived for 930 years, and Noah, renowned for constructing the ark, reached the age of 950. These extended lifespans, as documented in the Bible, not only signify remarkable ages but also underscore connections to pivotal events, such as the flood. Interpretations of these stories vary from symbolic explanations to more literal approaches. The extended lives of biblical characters are frequently linked to spiritual and moral lessons. Some traditions view these narratives as symbols of wisdom, patience, and the significance of a life devoted to God. Others consider them symbolic representations of broader cycles of time. The narratives of longevity in the Bible pose both theological and scientific challenges. From a theological standpoint, the stories can be seen as allegorical, while from a scientific perspective, extreme longevity contradicts our contemporary understanding of human biology. Various interpretations and theories attempt to elucidate why individuals were reported to reach the age of 900 before the flood, and even after this event, human longevity markedly declined. Nonetheless, in the post-flood era, people still lived up to 400 years, a circumstance that appears perplexing in today's context. Furthermore, in the ancient Egyptian kings list of Trin, we encounter certain intriguing parallels with an ancient Egyptian text inscribed in hieratic script. This particular text presents unexpectedly elevated ages for certain Egyptian rulers. According to Mani, the oldest king of Egypt, Nur or Mice, is typically dated around 400 BC, and is noted for a remarkably extended reign. This information becomes particularly intriguing when juxtaposed with archaeological findings suggesting that many ancient Egyptians had relatively short lifespans. Nevertheless, evidence indicates that some ancient Egyptians enjoyed remarkably long lives, spanning many years. A notable curiosity about the first king of Egypt is the resemblance between the names Mice or Nur and Isra, who is the son of Ham and the progenitor of the Egyptian people, according to ancient Jewish tradition. Beyond the ancient Egyptians, other civilizations such as the Sumerians, Assyrians, Akkadians, and Babylonians also reference in their renowned king lists certain rulers with incredibly prolonged lifespans. This theme is not confined to the Bible, but is also evident in sources from Sumerian, Babylonian, Akkadian, Syrian, and Egyptian cultures. These sources recount analogous stories about individuals who purportedly lived up to 900 years. The Sumerian kings list not only documents the locations of royalty and some official rulers, but also specifies the durations of their reigns. It is believed that the right to royalty was bestowed by the gods and could be transferred from one city to another. While some kings on the list are considered purely mythical, others are acknowledged as genuine historical figures. The durations of some reigns are remarkably protracted, reaching excessively large numbers in certain instances. In the list, there is a solitary mention of a woman who ascended to rulership, known in Sumerian as Kugbish. She is recognized as the tavern keeper, and her reign is described as lasting about 100 years. To rule for such an extended period, one would need to live for many, many years. The list of kings, rulers, ancestors, or even deities before the flood is often regarded as legendary, primarily seen as deities. A particularly surprising aspect is the longevity attributed to them. For instance, in the list, there is Alulim, who supposedly reigned for an incredible 28,800 years, a number that may seem absurd. Similar to the cases of Egyptian kings or ancestors, what draws attention is that many of them are described as having lived between 670 and 960 years old. Some examples include Kainabal, who purportedly lived for 960 years, Nana Sisma with 670 years, and Ana with 420 years. Additionally, there are figures like Bobom with 300 years, Panem with 840 years, Sibum with 960 years, Callum with 840 years, and so forth. These eras exhibit remarkable similarities to the ones documented in the Bible for individuals predating the flood. Some misconceptions imply that immediately following the flood, people were constrained to a maximum lifespan of 120 years. However, this is a misinterpretation. In reality, the number 120 mentioned in the Bible pertains to the time God allocated for the flood to occur and devastate the earth, not the expected lifespan of people. This misinterpretation stems from confusion regarding the biblical context, as the 120 years directly correlates with the duration before the flood, not a restriction on human longevity afterward. Substantial evidence supporting this perspective is found in genealogies that describe various individuals shortly after the flood. Contrary to the often cited 120 years, these biblical figures lived well beyond that time frame. Examples from Genesis, such as Arphaxad, Shelah, and Eber, lived for several centuries after the flood. This challenges the notion of a strict 120-year limit on human lifespan after the event. This theme is further supported by various pieces of evidence, indicating that the first generation post-Noah's sons and grandsons experienced lifespans ranging from 400 to 430 years. This represents a significant decline compared to the pre-flood era when individuals lived up to 900 years. It is crucial to acknowledge the diverse perceptions of time, days, and years among the peoples of the Middle East. Different groups had their calendars and distinct ways of counting time, influencing how these ages were recorded. Factors such as nutrition, reduced disease incidence, and active lifestyles are often cited as explanations for the longevity of individuals both before and after the flood. Additionally, theories related to genetics and the Earth's atmosphere contributing to increased oxygen intake are considered. The topic of longevity in ancient civilizations is complex and open to various explanations. The diversity in cultural, linguistic, and calendrical practices adds layers to understanding the recorded ages in historical accounts.